Hi guys, I'm Kamran and I work as a solution architect for Redis Labs. During this session, I'm going to talk about machine learning and how you can do execute your ML models in real time with Redis. So that's the agenda. But just a few questions first. How many here have heard about Redis? All right, a few. How many have used Redis in production? All right, 2 or 3. And how many of you are doing machine learning? Okay, good. Okay, so it's going to be a reasonably basic level. What I'm going to do is do the introduction, Redis Labs, go through, just very briefly touch on what Redis is, very briefly touch on machine learning, and then show you that, okay, how things are done today, and what we are suggesting, that how you can execute or train your models using Redis, and then I will give you a very quick demo. The slides, they will be available online, so you don't need to take pictures or anything. Everything will be there. And also for the demo, the Spark code and everything, in the presentation, I will provide the links, and you can go online and also have a look there also. Okay. And then if you have any questions, you can ask me those questions. Okay, so I work for Redis Labs. Redis Labs is the home of Redis. We sponsor the development of open source Redis, and then we also provide an enterprise version, which is for organizations who want support, who want scalability, who want ease of management. Our offerings from Redis Labs, we cover both as a service, so you can go to our website, enter your details, enter your credit card, choose the cloud that you want to use, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, software, and just start using the service. You don't need to manage it. You just say that, okay, I want this much data, I want 50 gigabytes or a terabyte of data, and you just start using the service. And you get an endpoint and connect your application there. Then there is a Redis Cloud Private, again runs on the cloud, but runs on your own instances if you want for compliance reasons, but still managed by Redis Labs. And the last one on the software side, the same software, it is provided as a package also. So you get your in your own data center, you get the machines, you install it, and you just start using it. Out of the box, it's production ready. You don't need to do any tuning or anything like that. Sometimes you do need to do tuning. If you're running more than 5 million transactions per second, then there are a few tuning things that you need to do. And in your own data center also, if our DevOps, they have access, then the last one, Redis Pack Managed, that it runs in your own data center, but managed by Redis Labs. So again, just as a service, as a platform as a service, you can use it. Okay. And again, just another slide that we have about 7,100 customers, and these are the commercial customers. And this is enterprise and open source, Redis open source, that it is very popular with the developers. In most of the rankings by the developers, Redis is one of the most used databases. Stack Overflow guys, they did a recent survey, and Redis, about 65,000 developers, and it was the most loved database. A lot of you guys, you haven't used it, so just go to the Redis open source site, download it, very easy to install and play with it. Lots of material available online, tutorials available, free books available, so very easy to learn and very easy to use, and probably you guys will like it as a developer. That's just the customary slide. This is more about Redis Enterprise, that these are some of our customers, and here you will see that, okay, we are being used by all the different kind of sectors. Twitter, they use Redis Enterprise for the Periscope service. Every API call that you make on Periscope that touches Redis. Twitch, an Amazon service, they gaming service, they use Redis for all their chat rooms, 400,000 concurrent chat rooms, and people are chatting, and they use Redis PubSub there to do that chatting. So it's used across all the different industries. So now, just to give you a brief introduction that, okay, why Redis is popular. So the first thing is that if you talk to anyone that why is Redis, everyone will be using it as a cache or as a data store, and they will always say that, okay, it's performant. You get sub-millisecond latency with the 99 percentile for millions of operations per second. And also the hardware, it's single-threaded, the code is lock-free, you get a serializable isolation level, and you save a lot on the hardware costs there. Then it's about the data structures, which I will just touch on. That's the development model. When you are developing an application, you think in dictionaries. If or if you are working in Java, you're thinking in terms of hashes, lists, vectors, and maps. And Redis, it provides all those things out of the box. It's language neutral. You have libraries available for about 45 different languages. So if you're polyglot, you want to use multiple languages, you can use those. And then the main topic, that will be extensibility, and I will be only talking about the two modules that are available, and I will touch on those. Okay. So what is Redis first? So it's a key value store, but the values, they are data structures. And the way it works is that if you are using sets, it provides you with commands that, okay, create a set, and then I want to add something to the head, I want to add something to the tail, I want to traverse it, and then the client libraries, they just map them to the relevant data structures in their own libraries. Like for sets, for fraud detection, or for recommendations, they're a good fit for that. Sorted sets, if you're a gaming company, or you want to build indexes, you use sorted sets. It also provides you with location-based APIs that you can put the latitude, longitude in, build your data structure, and then from that data structure, if you're at a location, you can query it very, very quickly. That give me all the businesses that are 500 meter around me. And then it provides you with hash tables, linked lists. So up to now, these were the data structures that Redis was providing. Just to set the scene, that okay, if you want to set a user session, these are the commands. Redis is all about the verbs, and then you give it the data. So if you have a map and you want to store user session, these are the commands, and it provides you with the command line tool that you will run. That okay, for user session 1, his user ID is 8754, and that's his name, and that's his IP address, and that's many hits. And then you can also get the values out of it using hash map get command. And then if it's you want to set another individual value, you can set the other individual value. Get it, delete it. So that's the general programming model with Redis. Now, if you are a Java developer, lots of libraries available. That's how one of the popular libraries, they map it. That okay, create a map, save it in Redis, and it will be saved as a hash map. You want to get individual values, you get the individual values. You want to increment it, you can increment it there also. And all the normal things that, okay, you want to scale, you want to do the partitioning, you want to do the persistence, you want to set time to live on the different values or keys, you can do that. It also provides you with PubSub, so it's a reasonably complete system. Still simple, the way you think, but still very, very simple. And the design, it is that if you want to use just some of the functionality, you don't have to go through a 2-day training course. You just go, install the software, just get, okay, I want to use these data structures, just pick them up, and you just start using them. Very, very easy to start with. Okay. Now, so that was just setting the scene that, okay, that's how you program, these are the commands that it provides. Okay, so now I'll just touch on machine learning. So what is machine learning is that you have a large amount of data, or a set of data, and rather than writing the code, you choose that, okay, that's the model that fits my data, that's something I want to do. You give it the data, and it learns, and then you start executing your model there. There are a few different types: classification, regression, and clustering. Classification is that, okay, you just get back, when you execute the model, you just get back from a set of values something back. So for spam detection, handwriting analysis, and all that kind of stuff, decision trees, one of the simplest ones which I'll talk about here, they are part of the classification machine learning. Then regression, that, okay, you get a value from a continuous value. So it's good for recommendations, likelihood of purchase. And then there is clustering, that you give it the data, and then it clusters according to some different properties, like k-means clustering. Okay. And the way it works is that, okay, if you want to do spam learning, so you have some data, you have your control set, you pass it through your machine learning algorithm, it generates the machine learning model for you, and then you start passing the emails through it, and then it will tell you that, okay, if it is if it's a spam or it's an original right email. So right now I'm talking about supervised learning, where you know about the model, you have the data set, but there is another kind also, which is unsupervised machine learning. Okay. One of the popular ones is Spark or TensorFlow. These are the two popular ones that people are using to do machine learning. They provide a wide set of libraries for that. And the normal way is that, okay, you use Spark, TensorFlow, or something like that. You train your model, then you export it. You have a custom server, or you have a library, and your client apps, they talk to the customer server, and they start executing the model. Or you can also do it in batch. That, okay, every night you get the new data, you run your model, you get the values. Like if you want to do recommendations, you go through all your customers, these are the new things. If he logs in, what are we going to recommend to the chap who logs into our website? Okay. Now, modules. That's the main talk that we are going to talk about. So up to now, the data structures that I showed you, those were just the data structures that Redis provided, and people used it like Lego blocks and built much more complex applications on top of that. But you always get the question, Redis, can it do secondary indexes? The answer was no, you have to build it yourself. Can it store JSON documents? The answer was, these are the patterns, that's how we are doing it, these are the 2 or 3 different approaches. Natively doesn't support them, but for fast access, if you want to store it, that's how you do it. But now with version 4, the core of it provides a stable API, and now you can develop your own modules, your own data structures, and plug those inside Redis. So rather than going to Salvatore or going to Redis Lab and saying, can you add this feature, you can develop the modules yourself. And Redis, it has a very large, passionate community, and they were announced about a year ago, and these are just some of the modules that are available. There are other probabilistic data structure modules, Bloom filters, k-mean, minimax sketch, all those data structures, they're also available that you guys can use. There is Redis search available, that if you want to do very, very fast text searches, again, open source, go, download it, and plug it in. So it keeps the core simple, and you just build what you want to do. Graph module, if your use case, it fits the graph database or graph model better. You can use the graph model module, and it supports a subset of the Cypher language. Time series, aggregation, and all those kind of things, again, they're built as a module. But I will be more talking about Neural Redis and Redis ML in this talk, these two models. So first of all, Neural Redis. This one was, when the modules came out, this one was developed by Salvatore, the founder of Redis. The purpose here is that everyone talks about machine learning, but you need a lot of different things components to do to set up machine learning. The purpose of this one is that to get you started on machine learning as fast as possible. So what it provides is, it provides you with neural networks, forward neural networks. Your data is coming in. You can train inside Redis with the data, and also execute it inside Redis. So you don't need any other components. You just need Redis, put Redis in, and start doing that. But it only supports forward neural networks, and that's what your architecture looks like. All right, you install Redis, load the module, and put your data in, train the model, and start doing it. Here is a very, very simple example where I am training a model, a neural network, to do additions. On the website, there are much more complex examples also available. So here, I'm creating, and in Redis, it's a live, hot data structure. It's just like a data structure. It's not something that you store like a blob. It's live. You can manipulate it, do all that kind of different things. So here, I'm creating a regression neural network. Then, to train it, I have to give it some data. So I'm saying that, okay, observe. All right, if you get 4 and 5, then the value, that should be 9. If I give you 1 and 1, the value should be 2. The more data you have, the better it will get trained. Again, I'm giving it 5, 6, 11. Then I say, okay, stop, don't overfit, and train now. So it goes in the background, starts training it. And you can keep on using Redis during that time while it's training. And then, when you want to execute it, you just say that, okay, run this. These are the 2 inputs, exactly the same way that we specified at the top. And it gives you an estimate that, okay, from the data that you provided me, that's the result. Again, 3, 5, all right. So not exact, but the more data you give, the better it will get. But the point here is that, okay, it's supporting just one type of machine learning model, but very, very easy to use and to get you started. Okay. Now we come to Redis ML. Now for machine learning, there are loads of different things, but the steps, they are almost always the same. You get your data, you train it, you create the model, and export it and start serving it. Okay, and that's normally the flow. That for Spark, that will be the normal way. That, okay, you load the data in Spark, you train it. Either you can export it and do put it into a custom server, or you can do the batch, do a nightly run or an hourly run, do the pre-compile results, and from your applications start serving those. That's the normal life cycle that we see nowadays. But what we are seeing is that model, if you have a custom server, the models, they are becoming more complex, they're becoming larger and larger. It can be challenging to deploy. You have multiple servers, how do you send the same data to all the servers? It's very hard to write a scalable server. You need to choose the libraries, otherwise the cost, like Spark libraries, they're quite slow when you are executing that, and I'll show you that. And then you want reliable services. Now what does Redis provide? It has client libraries for almost every language, multiple libraries, an efficient network protocol, an engine, and has high availability and scalability model that is easy to deploy and easy to extend. And if you combine those, it fits all the things that you need to run a machine learning model, but you do need something to execute it, and that is what Redis ML is. Okay, so what we are proposing here is that, okay, you do your training, whichever you want to do. You want to use Spark, you want to use TensorFlow, you want to use anything else. Here, a particular mention to Spark, that it also provides, we also provide a library, again open source, that's available. Once you have trained the model, you just run one command that, okay, export this model into Redis, and it will just pick it up and it's ready to execute. There, your data is coming in, and you can execute it live. If it's a TensorFlow or some other model, then you will have to do the mapping yourself there. And again, someone from the community, they will write those connectors also. Okay, So what are the benefits for that? So one is that it's put as a hot model. It's a live data structure that you can manipulate inside Redis and execute inside Redis. If you have multiple models, you want to do A/B testing, it's a key value store, and the value here is the ML model. So now you can put multiple models and execute depending on your logic that, okay, I want to execute this model for this user, or I want to execute this model for this user. You can tune it on the fly also. There are commands available that, okay, you want to add something to it, you can do that. And then you enjoy the performance, scalability, and high availability for Redis. And you don't have to worry which language should I use, which library should I use, and all that. And Redis ML is also extensible. You can take the code. If you want to plug in any other library, which we are supporting, yeah, you can do that. Right now, the one that's on available right now, we are the module. It is supporting tree ensembles or random forest trees. It's supporting linear regression. It's supporting logistic regression, metrics, and vector operations. They're also supported there. And as the community asks, or there is more need, you can put a GitHub request there that I need this, and they will, the developers, they will communicate with you, and they will make the, if it makes sense, if the demand is high enough, or you can also contribute if you want to contribute to that. Okay. So now for the demo, I will be using random forest model. So that's one of the simplest machine learning models. You have your data, and what it does is it takes different attributes and then makes a decision tree, and the majority of the trees, they make the decision on that. A good example is like that's like if you're on Titanic, will you survive or you will not survive? All right, if you're a female, you'll always survive. If you're a male, then check the age. The age is less than greater than 9.5. No. Otherwise, if you have siblings, and that is spouse and kids, if you have more than 2 or 5, you survive. Otherwise, you die. And then with a random forest, you will create thousands of those on users' attributes. You will create thousands of those trees on different attributes, and then you will run through it. So it's quite compute heavy. You will run through all those, and like in the first one, we are taking the sex, age, and siblings into consideration. In the second one, we are taking country, state, and height, and then weight, IQ, and eye color, and then they all will give value 0 or 1, and then you will combine, and the majority that will take the decision there. So for John, the tree 1, that's his feature vector. For John, tree 1 survived, tree 2 no, died, tree 3 survived, and the majority decision is that he has survived. Okay. Now, real world challenges also that we are talking to a company, and they are serving an ad serving company. That someone goes to a website, they provide a service, and what is the relevant ad for those guys? Now their requirement is that, okay, they want to do 20,000 ads per second with 50 millisecond data center latency. And they're running about 1,000 campaigns, and each campaign is a random forest, and each forest is 7 levels deep. You know, the depth, and they have 15K trees. So a quick calculation that we did, and we benchmarked that, okay, how much hardware do they need to do it in real time, that serving using just a library. So it was about 1 trillion operations, and the cost on EC2 was, because it's available, the sizing exercise, they had to spend about 11.5 million per year. But with Redis, on our benchmarks, it showed that, okay, you can do it with 97% less, just 35 C4 8x large. And the reason is that the library is more efficient, it's the data structures, and there is no locking there. Okay. And over Spark, I will show you in the demo that, okay, it runs about 40 times faster than doing the calculations in Spark. Okay. So again, as I touched on, it's not just about execution, but it is that it supports multiple models. There is just one place where you can where it supports all these different kinds of models. You can have multiple versions. You can tune them on the fly. Redis is a database, so as your models they grow larger, Redis will be able to handle them. If you want to upgrade the models, here it will be providing a fan-out architecture where you can update those models. Also, there is another push for Redis open source to run on small devices also. So if you want to do on-edge machine learning, again, Redis is a good fit for that they're getting the data, and you can, Redis, it has a very small memory footprint, about 1 megabytes, you can run that. So you can put, if it's a small model, you can also run on edge devices there. And then it's language neutral, you can run it from any language. Okay. And I showed you with the hash commands that, okay, if it's a hash, it gives you the ability to, provides you with the commands, and then the libraries map those commands. With machine learning module, it's adding a few commands, and that's how they look. Exactly like neural network, but okay, it's a machine learning module, it's a forest tree, add a new, that's the ID, that's the key for it, that's the tree ID, and you can add multiple trees, build your tree structure, and then when you want to execute it, you can execute it very, very quickly. So now I'm just going to move to a quick demo. Group Lens, they provide you with data. It's quite popular in the machine learning circles, and what they do is that here they are providing with a set of users and a set of movies, and then the kind of movies the user liked, and with the movies also, the movies are categorized also that, okay, it's a comedy, it's an action movie, and all that kind of stuff. And here what I'll be showing you is that, okay, you got new movies added to your website, the user logs in, and there are 10 new movies, and you want to show him, okay, which are which of those 10 movies, which are the 3 most suitable ones that I should recommend to the guy. So the first step, I will just, you don't need to, but I will be sending you a link. That's a Databricks notebook, and it is going through data preparation, Python code, Scala code, everything is available there. So at the end of the presentation, I will provide you the link. If you guys want to have a look there, you can have a look, but I will just talk here at a very, very high level about that. So the first step is, okay, take the data, transform it inside Spark. So one thing here is that what I'm not showing is that there is also a library available. Rather than loading the data directly into Spark, you can also, there is a library available, a Java and a Scala library that provides you with the data frame access to the types Redis inside Redis. So Spark, the way it works is that, okay, all the data is in data frames, so you can read the data from Redis as data frames directly. So even on the storage side on Spark, you can also use Redis, but that's not the topic for us today. Okay, and the second step is I've loaded, I've transformed the data, and then I run. This is Scala code, so I run a random forest ML model there, and once the model is trained, you only need this is the command that, again, a Scala library available that, okay, create the model and load it to Redis. That's all you need to do. And after that, the hot model is ready for execution, available inside Redis. Okay. And then I already previously I've done on Spark. I'm running it locally Spark, and I already have done the training and exported it into Redis. But I just wanted to point out that when in the notebook, when we are doing the training, also we are executing the model from Spark directly inside Redis and also in Spark using their libraries. And the time difference, it is huge. So in Redis, it's sub-millisecond, whereas in Spark, it is about 65 milliseconds to execute it. That's why the Spark guys, if you are just using Spark, they normally recommend that you do batch processing at night. Whereas with Redis, you can do it in real time as things are coming along, and that has huge benefits. If you have 1 million customers, they aren't going to log in every day to your website. So there are quite savings that you do it in real time rather than in a batch, just assuming that the guy is going to log in the next day. And the ratio, I think that is about 65 times faster in Redis. Okay. And okay, so now once we have loaded the module, now I will, if I have to run it, let me just go here. I will show you. Okay, so that's Redis. Yep, it's running. So that is Redis, and I don't have many models here, but a few models. So I have a user profile, the vector profile for the user, and some models that I trained in Spark and exported it for different movies. Now, if I want to execute this model, I'll just use Python for that. And the first thing I need to do is that I need to connect to Redis. So once I have connected, now I have a connection, and all I need to do is, so here I've done quite a few things. So the first thing I've done is that, okay, I've connected to the model. I have the user's vector profile in Redis, so you can store all different kinds of data inside Redis, and I'm just printing it here. And then all I'm doing is that, okay, guys, just execute the command, run this. That's the random forest model that I want to run on, and this is the data that I want to run it on, and it's given me that, okay, the user for that movie, on a score of 1 to 5, he likes it 3. If I want to run it for multiple movies, okay, execute 4, so just go through all the different models and run it, and then you can either save it as a sorted set or whichever way and get the top values and give your recommendation there. Here, one thing is that for the demo, I'm doing it in Python, but if you want to do co-located processing, Redis also supports Lua scripts, and you can do exactly the same things using Lua, and then you won't have to read the data, the user profile from your client application. Okay. So in summary, that what Redis essentially is giving you is giving you a server where you can keep your data, load the model, machine learning model. It's a hot model, and then you can also execute it inside Redis from your applications. It simplifies your infrastructure, and it will save you costs on your hardware also, and you get scaling, high availability, and performance for free. Okay. So these are the links, and I will upload the slide there. But I've gone through very, very quickly through those. So if there are any questions or anything, guys. Yes. Say it again. From Spark? Yes, there is a Redis library available for Python, and it just like I executed the command and I showed that it will depend on the model. So you will be running those add commands, or for whichever model these commands are provided. That's how you will export the model to Redis, and then you can execute it from there. So it is open. The only thing is that for Spark, that's our go-to. So we have already done the work for made it easier. Here, you'll have to probably spend a day or two figuring out what commands do I run to create the model, because they are all math and they're all similar. Yeah. Yes, sir. Okay, so it will be, as I mentioned before, that right now we are supporting tree ensembles, linear regression and logistic regression. In the future, yes, there will be. Again, also remember, this is open source also, so you can put a request there. Like I already have spoken to a few prospects. They have asked, we want this, and the developer, he will be responsive, and yes, there are plans. That's an interesting question. And the reason is that with the two guys who develop modules, this one developed by Shai, and there is also a Redis search module, which is developed by a chap called Devir. They sit side by side. For Redis search, it's going to be a little bit longer answer. So he has written a module, but he has made it extendable in a way that you can also add extensions yourself to it. So probably here also, it will follow the same approach. But do remember that machine learning, the execution, yes, Google guys and all those Facebook guys, they do it. For us, it is that we are also getting feedback that, guys, how do you want to use it? Do you find it useful? Give us your feedback, try it out, and we're open to suggestions there. Okay? Yes, sir. No. Right now, it's in preview. The ad company that I talked about, we are working with those guys. The release date for version 4, that's about 6 weeks. And then it will be available for production. Anyone else? Did it make sense, guys, or did it confuse everyone very fast? Yes, sir. No, not GPU. It is on the CPU right now. But if you want to extend it, fine. But the way for Redis ML we are going is it's going to be non-visual kind of stuff. That's the first thing. GPU support, probably. But I do not know. Again, it will depend on the demand there, if there is demand. And again, modules, they have opened up and people have done crazy things with it. Someone has written a module that they have integrated image magic library. You put the image inside Redis, manipulate it, switch it, resize it, and get it out. All I'm saying is that there are all the different possibilities, and someone, if there is a need, someone needs it, they will do it. Because that's Redis's greatest strength, is its community. Yep. But right now I'm not aware of that. That is correct, yes. Okay, so that's a totally different question, but yep, I'll answer that. So the question was that here, yes. So okay, so secondary indexes, they are kind of providing a where clause, where let's say if you're using hash sets, because up to now you had to build your own indexes inside Redis. Faster, but you had to do some elbow work. So it's kind of providing a where clause. Now the indexes, the way they work is that let's say you're doing a hm set command. Now at the start you will say that, okay, that's my command, but also you create an index and you prefix that command with, okay, use this index also for this. And that's how it will build the indexes. If you come to our booth, I can show you the example also. And that's the common pattern with secondary indexes and also a few other modules.
Actually, my question was about implementation.
Okay, so I don't think it's using B plus B trees. It's using trie data structure, and that's being shared with the Redis search also. And again, there are plans that a trie will replace also Redis's own hash structure. Yeah, did I answer your question? Yeah, it's trie, and now again that data structure is available separately, also open source. Redis search is using it. And they're also looking at to use it in Redis open source hash also, because it gives some benefits in worst case performance and memory saving. Okay, anyone else? All right, guys, I think that's it then. Thank you.